Certain neighborhoods in Baton Rouge are not hard to fall in love with, and Long Farm is 100% one of those neighborhoods. It's in a growing and booming part of Baton Rouge, and it has some beautiful homes. In this video, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about the neighborhood. So whether you're looking to relocate to Baton Rouge, or you already live here and you're looking to relocate within the city, and you're looking at some options, this video is going to be of value to you, and you're going to see if Long Farm fits the bill for you. Let's do it. Welcome back to Greater Baton Rouge Living. Some housekeeping before we get started, right? Hey, if you get any value from this, I would love for you to subscribe. It helps others see the channel. It helps the channel grow. And, at the end of the day, it makes me happy. So I appreciate it. Would love for you to do so. But let's get into it. Long Farm. So let's first talk about where the heck Long Farm actually is. Where is it? It's in the southeastern part of East Baton Rouge Parish towards Prairieville. It's sandwiched in between Barringer-Foreman Road and Antioch Road, pretty close to the Highland and Airline intersection. It also sits within the boundary lines of the proposed city of St. George. If you're curious of what that is and confused, expect a video on it possibly at another time. As I've mentioned, this part of Baton Rouge is booming and growing. It's in close proximity to Women's Hospital, the new Women's Hospital. It's also close to the I-10 exit on Highland Road, which is great for commuting purposes. You also have lots of groceries and shopping and dining nearby, some higher end stuff as well. So it's got a lot going for it. On top of that, there's a lot of undeveloped land near it, which, as you can imagine, has developers and builders drooling because they want to develop it to grow this part. So it is in a great part of Baton Rouge that is still to this day booming and growing. Now for a little history lesson on Long Farm, the history of it. It was years in the making of zoning and planning and developing, but it finally started to take shape and build and sell houses in 2013. It was actually pretty fun to look at old articles to see what was proposed initially, but initially it was proposed to be a 65 lot development to have a luxury apartment complex attached to it. It also proposed to have a Rouse's grocery store with surrounding commercial, retail, and shops around it. It also had a proposed lot of land that YMCA was going to buy, so you could have the gym aspect of it as well. The main goal was to be a T&D neighborhood. What is that? That is a traditional neighborhood development. The premise of it is that it is a low maintenance lifestyle with everything you need within walking distance to it. So everything was proposed, and fast forward a little more than 10 years to where we are now. What do we have? We have hundreds of homes. We do have the luxury apartment complex called the Tapestry. You do have the Rouse's grocery store with some businesses around it. Well, not later. You do not have a YMCA. Don't have that. However, it has become what they envisioned, and it is a great T&D concept. A little more history on it that some people don't know, but the original builder that started building homes in the neighborhood was D.R. Horton. And I know you may be seeing this and you know Long Farm and you're like, D.R. Horton? What? D.R. Horton is not exactly known for this style of neighborhood and this style of price point. Not a knock to them, but they typically build in a lower price point. But they wanted to try their hand at luxury homes, and this was it. So the first homes built in the neighborhood were D.R. Horton. And over the years, some select builders were allowed to start building. And in came Meridian and Bardwell and Rabelais, R&B. I'm missing a few others, Manchac as well. And that's what gave shape to allow it to take form to what it is today. So what kind of amenities can you expect in Long Farm? Well, I'll tell you. Of course, everyone loves the pool, the clubhouse. So you've got a nice pool. And I say clubhouse, you've got a large room that you can rent out and reserve for parties or host some sort of events. You've also got some walking trails around both of the ponds that lead to the sidewalks throughout the neighborhood, as well as some of the sitting areas around the neighborhood. And of course, to achieve the T&D traditional neighborhood development lifestyle, you do have a nearby grocery store, the Rouse's, and close to that, in the same development, you have a Starbucks, a Five Guys, you've got a Zaxby's, an Orange Theory. You've also got a really upscale restaurant called Proverbial Wine Bistro, the Main Squeeze, which is a smoothie and juice place, among other things. So they did achieve that and have a lot of those nearby, along with those amenities I mentioned before. So now on to my favorite part to talk about, the real estate. What kind of house can you expect to get in long form? The price definitely has a wide range. You can go all the way down to around the 500,000 range, and you can spend all the way up to the million range. The newest filing actually is focusing on the bigger, more custom houses, which definitely pushes you up towards that $1 million range. But as I said, there's various builders in there, and you can often, if you were familiar with the area, see a house and know who built it. They'll have their custom touches, their signature looks, but they are beautiful houses nonetheless. The size of house you can expect is in the range of 2,100 square feet to about 2,800 square feet in those first few filings. When you get to the later filings with the bigger, more expensive houses, you can expect probably somewhere in the 3,000 to 4,000 square feet range. With these homes, you're gonna get a mixture of 3 and 4 bedrooms. Some of the floor plans offer some sort of designated office space or bonus room, but overall, you're gonna get a 3 to 4 bedroom. Now let's talk about the lot size. Are you gonna get a big lot moving into long farm? To be honest, no, you're not, because the T&D lifestyle gives you a low maintenance lifestyle. So the lots aren't huge. Some of the lots are gonna be the traditional front load garage, front driveway, traditional backyard, which isn't the smallest, but it's not the biggest either. But then other lots are the kind of back alley garage setup to where the front exterior doesn't have a driveway and you have to pull around back. And those, of course, have a smaller amount of green space. They're little to no yard. But again, they're pitching the low maintenance lifestyle, and the amenities are off of your private lot, and you can take advantage of them elsewhere. Some of the lots are big enough to put a smaller lap pool, and some of them have that. But others, of course, take advantage of the neighborhood. So if you're curious about the real estate in Long Farm and what's currently there, there's going to be a link in the description below. Check that out. We'll have all of the active listings. And even if you're watching this video months after it's posted, this link should have everything that's active. So check it out and let me know if you have any questions on it. So I've painted you a picture of what Long Farm has to offer, but of course I want to give you everything, including what some, maybe just I, deem as possible cons to Long Farm. So let's get into a couple of those. The first thing is the amenities. If you rewind and watch that section, you can see I didn't list out too many things. Yes, they have a pool and a clubhouse, but similar neighborhoods to this also offer things like a fitness center, maybe a bigger clubhouse, tennis courts, maybe a community garden, pickleball courts. Either way, you don't have a lot of those things, and you just have the pool and clubhouse and walking trail. So some would say if you're spending this much money, you probably want a little more amenities. I interrupt my own YouTube video to correct myself. I'm out here in Long Farm getting some B-roll footage for the video, and what do I notice? They are adding more amenities. So we have here some pickleball courts, and in the distance there, a basketball court. So maybe not a con after all. Scratch what I just said. On top of the amenities and the T&D lifestyle, the Rouses and grocery and the other businesses I mentioned, not exactly walking distance to the houses. To be honest, if I lived there, I'd probably drive. Some people have golf carts or rather bikes to it, but you know, walking is probably a relative term, not that close, but still good proximity, but just something to keep in mind. The second con is, as I mentioned, D.R. Horton. Some may not see this as a con, but there is some sort of, maybe not a negative connotation with the builder, but more so a different perception of the builder in the sense of why would they be in this neighborhood. So I'll be honest, sometimes those properties take a little longer to sell. They do sell for a little bit less, but that is also because other builders have more custom or higher end finishes than these properties. So some people aren't necessarily a fan of having that builder and those products in the neighborhood because they feel like it doesn't match with the others, but nonetheless, they're still beautiful homes. I do, however, tell my clients that when we're running comps, the D.R. Horton houses should probably have a little bit of a discount than the others. So there you have it, a good overview and an explanation in a nutshell of the neighborhood of Long Farm. It's a beautiful neighborhood you do have to see in person. If you go to a prior video of mine, you can see a home tour of a house I did that was actually in Long Farm in the $600,000 range. It was a beautiful house. But of course, a reminder, if you go to the link in the description below, you can see all the active listings that are currently there. So if you're looking to possibly move into Baton Rouge, this is a great neighborhood to consider. If you're looking to even just relocate within the city, it's a solid option for you. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, give us a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching Greater Baton Rouge Living. We'll see you next time.